Let's start the podcast.
I could put you in the brig for what you've done, but I won't do it.
What the hell's going on out here?
And we are two L's, one pod. Welcome, Christmas Day. This airs Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas. So this is Christmas. My name is Al Romas. I'm in the beautiful, warm state of Florida, and that is Al Ducharme. He's on the Wonder of the Seas, the biggest, the best new ship until 3 weeks from now. So enjoy it if you will. And how are you, Al? How goes it on the Wonder?
Merry Christmas, everybody. This is our Christmas gift to you, a free podcast. Because this one's we're gonna air this one, both video and audio for all.
Oh, that wasn't discussed.
Well, because you said it was gonna air Christmas Day. So I'm like, let's give them a gift. Because normally in order to see the video, you have to go to Patreon and become a member.
Right.
That's a paid subscription. And thank you again to our Patreon members for all your support over the last few years, but especially
we love you.
2023. We were able to buy a lot of cocaine and marijuana, but we call it blow now. We don't call it cocaine, as I was corrected by our guest that will be coming on in a few minutes. But we'll get to that.
A guest? We have a guest?
We have a guest, but it's not guest the guest. Sometimes we have guest the guest, and we give clues, and the other person has to try to figure out who it is. This one is my guest. It's his fourth cruise with me, and we've known each other for 34 years.
Bernie, you're out.
Yeah. So that's it. Anyways,
you're news. We're breaking the news.
I'm at sea, so hopefully it won't be too glitchy. And if it is, we'll try to make adjustments in posts so that everybody will have a good time. Yes, this ship is beautiful, sparkling. It's 2 years old, but they maintain it because it's the flagship. So my question is, after the Icon comes out, are they going to let this baby go? Because some of the older ships on some of the other lines, not
it goes to 3 and 4 day, and it'll be fucking
I've been on those
house.
ships where they're I'm about to get on them and it's completely covered in rust.
Yeah.
And the crew is patching up holes in the side and they're throwing dead bodies off. But this is pristine. I mean, we were talking about it, and John will elaborate a little bit more about the modern marvel of these vessels and how enormous they are and all the detail that goes into it. It's just incredible.
No, it's ridiculous, and that's why when people saw a video of the Icon, people were like, there was that half the people were like, "Oh my God, it looks fucking amazing." And the other half were like, I wouldn't go on that thing if you paid me. It's too big. It's too crazy. I mean, 10,000 people basically with the crew on a vessel for 7 days. It's really nuts. But, we'll see. Should be cool. But Wonder still is the biggest and the newest.
Now,
for a couple
when
more
they
weeks.
bring out these new ships, there's a lot of stress for the crew and whatnot because they're trying to make that impression.
Yeah.
But when they come out with a new class, I think the pressure is like 10.
It's crazy. Yeah.
But when they come out with, this is a true and tried vessel. The first one that came out was in 2009, the Oasis of the Seas. And they worked out all the bugs and everything. So I'm guessing Icon is hopefully smooth sailing right out of the gate. Not necessarily, but I'm thinking it's got a good chance because this is their fourth.
Hope so.
It's their fourth one of this size, right? I call them double.
Well, no, let me correct you there, Salty. The Icon's its own class. It's a different ship.
Oh, you're fucked.
The Icon class. So this is Icon, right? And its sister ship is out next summer, the Star of the Seas.
Oh, I thought it was.
So it's a different class now. No. Yeah.
Oh, well, we discussed this. The Plum Bow.
Yeah.
John and I discussed this. That's different. But what
and
about
the Comedy Club? Different location than the Oasis class. Not gonna be the attic.
I stand corrected. I thought I knew my shit. I know nothing. You know.
You don't know much. I got to be honest.
He has no idea.
They know nothing.
Jim Cramer. Holy shit.
Nuts. They're nuts. They know nothing.
I haven't seen or heard of that. Is that guy still around? Are we still
All
right.
Yeah, he's got a show every night at 6
I
o'clock Eastern time.
I remember Jon Stewart ripping them apart 100 years ago.
That was a great interview.
That was great. That was
And he
great.
said, "You're absolutely right. We could have done better, and we have to do it."
Yeah.
But he took
Yeah.
it. He took it.
Took it. You got to take it, baby. Take it.
Jim Cramer didn't realize, and he goes, "I come from this culture. There's a lot of misleading and whatnot."
Yeah.
But when you're lying outright, and he had a wall of shame. He would put the CEOs, the top 7 or 8 CEOs, wall of shame, and he put them up there, and he put their name out there. Shame on
Yeah.
you and their company, and their fucking stock would go blah, 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 blah. So I was enjoying that a little bit.
All right. Let's get to the guest.
Let's get to the guest. Our guest hails all the way from his lovely home in Los Angeles, California. I've known him for over 34 years. He's really, there he is. He's sneaking by in the back. Oh my God, the ship is moving. He's seasick. He vomited on me twice last night. And I thought it was a midnight snack because it was dark.
That wasn't vomit.
That wasn't vomit.
Can I stop this?
He's doing physical
Yes.
humor. He's doing
Please.
act. Yes,
The bit wasn't that good to begin with.
But wait.
Sit down. Just
Al,
have a seat.
quick impression. Who am I?
I don't know.
Al Ducharme.
You're off camera,
trying to get
pal.
to a
You're off
curtain.
camera.
Ducharme
Come
trying
on
to
John
get on stage.
Frederick Wolk. Come on in, Wolky. We call him Wolky. That's his nickname. And here he is.
Hello.
Welcome.
Right now
Welcome.
he's employed by the Disney company, so we can't say fuck or eat an ass. We can't say these things.
Right. No, I
Because-
can say fuck, but I can't say eat an ass.
Yeah, okay,
No,
that's what
not.
Can you cruise on the Disney cruise ships? Do you get a sweet deal? You wanted to get out there on the cruises,
I have taken 2 of them for work to shoot. We shot 2 episodes of the sitcom According to Jim on the Disney Magic or Wonder, one of the 2, many moons ago. I think probably back around 2006. And then I shot a grand prize episode of America's Funniest Videos, the $100,000 episode on the Wonder.
And who's the creator and executive producer of that program?
Vin DeBona from Cranston, Rhode Island.
My hometown.
Yeah.
And we had a winner. Well, not 100,000. We had Vic DiBattista on the pod. He won the funniest videos, but I don't know what the prize that was. I think it was like 10 grand. Yeah, it was the
Yes.
I
You know,
think it might have been the 80s.
that's the interesting thing. No, the show, we debuted it on ABC in November of '89, if you can believe it. It's the longest running entertainment show.
Wow. Holy shit.
Television, and we have not increased the prize money one dime for the rate of inflation or the cost of living. So the
And this show makes more profit
Yeah,
than
it
it
does.
ever had.
so the $100,000, the
Free content.
$100,000 grand prize
Wow.
money, back in '89 was seriously life changing for those fans.
Right.
And
Yeah.
now,
Now it's
Your taxes, you got like
now
I still got to go to work
Yeah,
Monday, but
yeah.
that's nice. It's
Yeah.
nice.
let me say I can pay my tax.
Right.
bill.
The 100
Maybe.
grand, the 100 grand ends up 7 grand in a trip to LA. Right.
Yeah.
They pick them up, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing: John picks them up in an Uber.
Yes.
He's not driving; he just takes the Uber.
Disney's a frugal.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
yeah.
Nice.
Money to burn.
How did give us a little give me a little background? I don't know you guys, did you meet up in
Yeah, we
comedy
met,
in Boston?
Yeah,
And, how'd it go?
when I undergrad, I was at Curry College School of Knowledge in Milton, which is a suburb of Boston, about 15, 20 minutes outside of the city.
with no traffic.
The birthplace of George Herbert Walker Bush at Milton Hospital.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And now, when he was born, there, Milton Hospital had a dirt floor and stables in the back. It was both human and veterinary.
It's an affluent area,
Wow.
but it's
Yeah.
adjacent to Roxbury, which
Oh,
it's
night
kind
of,
good.
night at the
It's like-
Roxbury.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because you can actually go like 2 blocks and all of a sudden you're in these like 1/4 acre to 2 acre homes.
Yeah.
And big lawn.
It's funny. I forget about Bush. I always think of him in Texan. You know, I mean, the whole Texan.
Right,
because of
thing.
the accent.
You forget he's a New
Connecticut,
England.
but
He was
Yeah.
affected.
Yeah.
He was affected by
Yeah.
his Texan accent.
Yeah.
I wonder
Yeah,
if, like
it's
that
weird.
I wonder if he had that Thurston Howell the third accent prior to moving
Yeah.
to Texas.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Well, no, we're talking, that's W. This was HW.
oh, I'm
so-
sorry, Herbert.
This was
This
the
is
father,
H.
Herbert Walker.
Ah,
Right,
see,
right.
That's
They
his
know
dad.
nothing.
Yeah. So
Okay.
he was a Mass and Connecticut boy, and
Gotcha.
made his way to
But-
Texas.
but W went to Yale,
Uh-huh.
and
hmm
he was born in Connecticut.
Right. He was a Yale. He was a legacy, and that's
Played
one-
baseball. Remember
Yep.
a picture of him there at
one of
first
the
base.
reasons-
And he bought the Texas Rangers.
Right.
Well,
He owned 5%,
and then he sold it for
but he was the controller.
fucking sick money.
Yeah.
Yeah, how does that work? Yeah, 5%. You control everything. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys meet.
Hunter
You meet.
Biden.
We
How
met.
do you
So
meet?
yeah.
You
So
bump
back,
into open mic night. You get
no,
into.
it was actually I'm not sure where I had seen Al perform.
I think you saw me at
Yeah, maybe at
Stitches.
Stitches. Yeah,
Comedy
and
Club,
and then I was booking the entertainment. I was the comedy concert chair at Curry and the president of my class back then, and I was hosting and booking the comedy shows and concerts, and I asked our agent to get Al out, and I would host the shows, and we did Wednesday nights. We called them the Comedy Experiment. The Wednesday
Stage
Night
legs
Comedy
out of the gate.
Experiment.
Very
And,
comfortable.
Comedy experiment.
crowd.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very
and,
familiar with the mic, stage presence.
yeah, it was.
You were doing also
fun.
you were doing some improv stuff too.
Improv with an
Sketch-
improv and sketch troupe called In Stereo that was out of there, and we'd
Were you doing stand up yourself? Were you?
yeah, but
Trying it?
not I only had like 7 minutes of material.
That's all I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
The rest is filler.
I wish I was kidding.
Right.
I
I'm
wish I was
making a
kidding.
living at doing that.
I had
It's a miracle.
I had 5 to 7, a solid 30 to 45 seconds, and the rest was
All right.
yeah.
Not bad.
And I'd have to
It's
do
something.
crowd work for the other 6 minutes. Yeah.
Hey, you could headline now. Crowd work kills. People love it.
Perfect. He doesn't know this, but you're booked here.
No kidding.
Yeah, in February with him. So with
Oh.
Lomas. So
Well, I'm
Oh, cool.
honored.
Nice.
I'm
All
honored.
right.
All right,
I look forward to it.
Tell the guys at the network that I'm moonlighting on the high seas.
Yeah, there you go. So how long did you do stand up? Did you travel at all? Did you really get into it, or did you just go? Because I have some friends who did it and then were like, you know what? Not for me. It's just not for me.
That was the case. I did it just for a couple years there, and would do some open mic nights. And
but you did some road
school.
gigs with me.
Did some road gigs with Al.
We were producing them,
yeah,
actually. as
and
well.
sometimes I'd introduce them, but yeah, it just was. I was more interested in behind the scenes and producing.
Mhm.
And so forth.
Jason Pussy.
And it's a
Mhm.
just as I had a lot of friends in college and grad school that also went into radio and TV, and a lot of them, they had to sort of cut their teeth in very small markets, and I just was not willing to, I didn't want to go host a morning show in Dubuque,
Right.
Iowa, or Jackson, Mississippi, or wherever, and so
You did not want to do that? That's weird.
I did not.
I don't. Wow.
I'm
All
right. Can you believe that? Yeah. No, I
Wow.
literally, I have friends that, they're
They've done it. Yeah.
in their 50s. They've lived in 10 different places, and they're up
Yeah.
with their wife and kids constantly, and yeah.
You're originally from
Chicago.
and then
Chicago.
school,
College and grad
Massachusetts,
school
and
in
you stayed in
Boston.
Massachusetts for a couple
Yeah,
years.
yeah, a few years.
And then you went west, young man, right?
And then I headed to Hell A on Tuesday, August 10th, 1994, when my flight landed at LAX at 8:15 p.m. But who's that is literally exactly when I arrived.
Back in the day when you could smoke,
Right.
Yeah.
you
But
could-
did you go out there with a job, with an agent, with anything?
know,
or did you go out there
I-
like, hey, I'm here?
Yeah,
do
it was actually I had associate produced a little low budget slasher film in Chicago while I was still in college in 1990. An atrocious piece of shit called Mangled, which was about a
Oh, yeah.
serial
Sure.
killer that was targeting priests in Chicago, and as a family film.
Yeah. no,
Yeah, and
now you work for Disney.
and right,
It-
and so
It's a Christmas episode.
yeah, so it was I had gone I had met some guys that were Second City guys on that film, and they had a troupe in Chicago and a kind of a cult hit play there that went late at night. It was very crazy puppets and blood, a musical kind of Kukla, Fran and Ollie meets Rocky Horror meets Bar, and
Wow.
they wanted to move it out to LA. So we raised 50 grand in a private place,
Of course.
mostly friends and family, and moved it out there. And I went out to help produce it.
Okay.
Yeah. So he had his, foot in the pool
Right.
at a very young age.
Yeah.
Very
Did you do any stand up in LA?
I did not. No,
Not
so
at all?
last
No.
time, yeah, the last time I did it was maybe in Boston. Maybe at Stitchers or maybe at the Lil Bear in Tiverton, Rhode Island.
Oh, that
Yeah, worst.
That was the Barry Katz
that
one nighter.
Yeah,
There was the wooden
Wow.
worst
the
that
Lil
I ever
Bear.
had was at the Lil Bear. Yeah,
but not the worst experience you had, because
no, right. That was at
that biker-
Changes in Bourne, Mass.
Bourne,
Yeah.
Massachusetts, at Changes, a biker
Yeah,
bar.
Yeah,
He said, "Hey, I got us a venue to perform
Yeah.
at."
yeah. We were a charity.
And you showed up with a little blazer.
Yes.
And you went in the restroom, and these guys, clearly they were gay. They
Mhm.
were trying to be all macho,
Yeah.
with like brass
Yeah.
knuckles and
It
whatnot.
was kind of like a light blue Liz Claiborne jacket back when she was a viable designer and
Before Kate did.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And these
Biker bar apparel. Yeah, of course.
these guys did not at Changes in Bourne, Mass did not get this Nebby Jew from Chicago in the men's.
Well, you were managing at that point
Right.
too, so he's trying to play that role. Again, he was years beyond his age, and I was wearing the typical T-shirt, jeans, and sneakers, so I was good, and I was on
Yeah.
stage, so I had the.
That's still a
Canadian
standard.
uniform on. Yeah. It's
You're
still-
right. That's true.
Even more so now. I
The
think it's gone
uniform.
back.
Yeah.
Canadian uniform.
Yeah. Do you ever have, John, do you have like when you watch Al on The Wonder or whatever, do you go, hey, I wouldn't mind going up there and doing 5?
Yeah.
Like, do you have that pull? Is it still there a little bit?
I do. I constantly write jokes and I put them in the notes section of my phone, and I intend to use them maybe in a film or television project, sort of work them into dialogue or something like that. But it's certainly, it really is. It really is. It's a muscle I haven't worked in a long time, but it would be.
Well, you've
would
been
be
working
fun.
muscle, I'll tell you that.
Hello.
He's in the next
I
bit.
know.
Holy
Hello.
shit.
Hey.
Right.
But I always
But,
think that, like, because I've been doing this a long time, and you go like, I'd love to just maybe quit and be done. But then I think, well, would it pull? Would I be like, oh, I'd love to go out up tonight? Or I always wonder,
Right.
like, if guys who did it, do they still look at it years later and go, I wouldn't mind going up there and doing 5, or but not to do it, but just the idea.
Right. Not the lifestyle.
No.
Kind of the a bit of the hand to mouth nomadic sort of, but yeah, I certainly
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
We have room service.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not really handing them out that much.
There's a buffet on deck 15,
I mean,
and there's a solarium lounge that serves food
Right.
forward.
Right.
So.
yeah.
Not
Yeah.
quite.
We're going to
quite-
Coastal Kitchen tonight.
We are. Yes,
going
we
to
are.
the
We're going to
Coastal
try it.
Kitchen.
Right.
Did you go to the Coastal Kitchen when you stay in the
Junior suite.
junior
In the
suite?
suite, when I'm in the suite.
Yeah.
Dude, I haven't had a
I
suite
have,
since
yes.
2018. This is remarkable.
Well, you haven't worked a good
'Cause I have a
shift since
guest, too.
2018. Yeah.
What's up?
No, nothing. You wait.
Alan,
What did you just say?
I said you haven't worked a good ship since 2018.
That is true. That is true. No, I actually have. It's just that
No,
I go-
I'm kidding, of
I
course.
go down lower.
steerage.
How come they don't give 2
steerage? Yeah.
suites for the comedian?
That's a great question. Well, why do you
I mean,
think
if they
they're
sell out,
selling them?
I-
I'm amazed we get one. Let's be honest. If they could sell it, they would.
Right, but it's
And-
the 2 on, 2 off. I just wasn't in the
Yeah.
rhythm of getting it, but having a guest and then having because it's like a third more cabin,
oh, sure.
walk-in
Sure.
closet. I mean, it's really
Yeah.
for your head. It's like wow. And
An
then
Yeah, it's different.
unusable bathtub that's 3 inches deep.
that's for my
but,
penis.
Yeah, I
That's
know
what-
somebody's done the bit. I'm not trying to do a bit, but what is
Right.
with the half glass? The floor gets wet.
Right.
We just we had a
we
big,
had that,
we were
yeah.
trying to
It's
hammer
got to be
it.
a bit already because I was going to
Yeah.
do it. I'm like, everyone's done it, but I've never heard it.
Well,
But
the majority of the people don't have that. They have the.
but what is the point? I don't. When they built it, designed it. What
Well,
was
he
the
pointed out it's for
function?
the heifers. It's for the heifers. And dude,
Oh.
this is a 6-day
That's what
cruise
we're doing. We're building
is the
bathtubs
6-day
for the
cruise.
heifers.
out of Cape
Oh,
Canaveral.
jeez.
There's
Yeah.
certain some people that
Supersizing of
really
America.
enjoy the food.
Yeah. Are you saying these are big people?
Limit.
These are big
No limit.
big people that enjoy cruising.
Well,
yeah.
I gotta tell you, Al, it was on the first night the captain made an announcement. This ship is just shy of 237,000 gross tons, the largest cruise ship.
And half of it is
See, as you guys had talked about, and the captain did mention that passengers that weighed in excess of 250 pounds should not congregate on the port or starboard side at one given time, because there's listing involved.
Is that in your notes?
I was going to say this would be a good tonight. That's a nice piece of business to start up.
You should open up with 5.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, I'm gonna tell them the story of the solstice, which we couldn't use the joke, obviously.
Okay.
But the first cruise I went on, a different line 5 years ago. We went up to Alaska, and Alaska skews the cruises skew older, as we know. The median age, the cruise director told us the median age on that week was 64. That's median, the middle. So obviously we're getting a lot of folks in their 70s.
That seems young. Yeah.
90s. There were
64 is pretty young.
Kin had said 64, and
but it usually skews like 70.
Really? Median?
Yeah.
69, 70.
But so he said 64, and there were 3 medical evacuations during that week, which I had never experienced.
He was 2 of them.
Two by Coast Guard cutter and 1 by helicopter, and we were on the Celebrity Solstice. And I said to Al, they should rename this ship the Celebrity Hospice. And he said, I love that. I can't use it because I can't bite the hand that feeds me. Right.
You know what I loved about the solarium area, the adult pool area, 18 plus. John went in there. There was nobody else in
Every
there.
day.
All of a sudden, a woman came in with like 4 kids, and they were screaming from like 4 to 9. And they were chasing one another. And John goes,
Oh no! Oh no! Excuse me, attendant. No, they can't be here.
and the attendant ran over and said, "You got to leave."
I got it.
Wow, good for you.
It was amazing. As everybody was out on a t-shirt, I was the only asshole.
I don't blame him.
It was treating it like it was South Beach.
See, I wouldn't have done that because I was an employee. But the fact
I wouldn't have done it just because I wouldn't confrontational. But I love it. I love the idea of you doing that.
It was awesome.
Great. Good for you. Yeah.
He was like, oh no. Oh, no.
So these kids were forced to go to the outdoor pool, and it was 47 degrees outside.
Oh yeah, it's a fucking Alaska. Yeah,
that's right.
But there was
it's overrated.
Tubs, jacuzzis on each side that were 82 degrees.
I like to bring disappointment back. I think that's important. It's important to disappoint children when they're on a vacation. And
well, first of all, the children shouldn't be on a vacation in Alaska.
Yeah, well,
the bears.
Well, it's good,
but it's
what the hell?
No, it's education.
Of course, I'm just
it's
trying to get
America. It's God's personal museum, Alaska.
I think it's overrated personally, but
he has
people enjoy it.
Podcast about.
I've been there many. To me, really, it's cold. There's some ice, and you can hike a little. But other than that, as a spot to go spend a week, no
I
thanks.
went 3 consecutive years all summer. So every other week, I was up there. I brought my wife. I brought my sister, my niece. We loved it. And then I went 2 years without ever going, and I was like, I don't like this. I want to go back. And now I go a few times a year.
It's the only time of year I get to gnaw on some elk jerky. And
there is that. There is that. I buy a Ulu knife, and I'm a pretty happy camper. So there is that stuff. Yeah. Now, John, I'm looking at your hat. You got a Jimmy Kimmel Live hat on.
Yes.
Are you a fan of the program? You enjoy Jimmy's work? And you like to wear
I
his
have
stuff?
not showered yet, so I had to put the baseball hat on. I work on the show, so I hope I work on the show for the network. Yeah, we've been doing it. January 26th will be 21 years, if you can believe it.
Holy, I can't believe. No, I can't believe that, to be honest.
Yeah,
I remember Jimmy Kimmel. I remember watching Win Ben Stein's Money. Wasn't that
right? So Jimmy was a Are we
No.
on hold?
Nope.
Oh, we're still
good.
going. Okay.
Mhm.
All good. Good on this end. Let's
Yep.
keep it. Yeah.
I'm messaging the wife. I just one word, podcasting. Now she's gonna go, oh, I didn't know because we have the thing. And she's gonna go, blim, blim. Like, podcasting.
She loves to interrupt. She
You gotta
loves
file.
interrupt.
You really have to file.
I do.
right?
I have to
You know,
file.
it's been
Yeah. No,
But,
it's
More
okay.
blowjob.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
No, so Jimmy was he was a journeyman radio guy that also worked in a lot of small markets and got fired repeatedly, and then caught on as Jimmy the Sports Guy at K-Rock, the world famous K-Rock in LA with the Kevin and Bean show, morning show. And then he auditioned for Win Ben Stein's Money, got that gig, and
Beat
started
out
him in
Tom
TV.
Connor.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Did Tommy
Yeah.
audition for that?
Tom was. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Did not know that.
yeah, so Jimmy did that, and then he and Corolla developed the Man Show. Did that
Tom
for
Connor
4
auditioned for
years.
that
And
too.
did he?
No, I don't know. Just-
He was gonna be a juggy. He wanted to
Jimmy-
just jump on the
Right.
trampoline. He was like, "Fuck it."
That's
Oh,
right.
wait, that's
I
why I
got
did
nothing.
TBT and came in second and lost
to
to
a dog act.
dog
right.
act.
Mhm.
And yeah, so it's and then our former boss at the network, Lloyd Braun, wanted to get us into the late night space after Bill Maher was unceremoniously fired, canceled.
Mhm.
No.
And yes, it did work out for him. And
Mhm.
so they hired Jimmy, and we did some test shows in December of 2002. That's what started it all.
I remember all. Yeah, it was live back in that. Was it actually
Correct.
live?
We were
Not
live.
to tape?
The first 15 months of the show was harrowing because
Yes.
we were on at 12:05 East Coast at the time, so we would go live at 9:05, and was a long, arduous day. And doing live, of course, is like it's sort of
Yeah, it was crazy.
high wire without a net, and it was 5
Yeah.
nights a week, and it was
And it was a
very
new show.
stressful and a new show.
Yeah,
and,
it's crazy.
Oh,
Really.
and the guest bookings, was very difficult early on. Every night was sort of, it would be Jimmy's girlfriend at the time, Sarah Silverman, would be our first chair guest, or Adam Carolla's best friend, or Sarah, who are both great. And then it would be
Mhm.
Kathy Griffin, Janine Garofalo, Andy Dick, and then it would be Sarah
Right.
Silverman.
Yeah, and then
You
Tom
know,
Cotton's up for it. Didn't get out.
Corolla, Janine Garofalo, and then we'd have an occasional ABC sitcom star or a reality star. So it was
Yeah.
lean in the beginning, and then
Yeah.
caught on.
How
and-
did
Everybody
you
wants
how did you get involved? And you're in LA.
Oh, because I was
how does
working.
that happen?
I was working for the network, and I was sort of assigned as we were launching it to help. Sort of work, and a few of us from the network were there, kind of helping to mind the store in a supervisory capacity and so forth. And it was funny. I just told Al this last night. I remember we had we had meetings with Jimmy and his exec producer, Daniel Kellison, at the time. And, they were great. And, it was exciting to launch the show and everything. But none of us thought, not even, Jimmy himself thought 21 years later, it
That's
would still
crazy.
be going.
Right. How can you? Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, how can you exactly?
Wow.
I think, and it was one of those things. The show would be renewed sort of on a 13-week basis early on. So,
Mhm.
it was all just kind of preliminary, and we'd keep going and going and going. And
I've been there a
eventually
couple of
caught
times
on.
as your
Yeah.
guest. John has me go in the control room and the green room,
Yeah,
sitting next to celebs and whatnot.
it's a fun. It's a fun.
and
show
everybody,
too.
all these
Yeah.
celebs assume like, oh, he's vetted, he's fine, he's not-
Right. Right.
And I'm like, I love you, I love you.
Get this weirdo out of here.
Al loves the Vin Diesel. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
whenever
that's-
Vincent Diesel is on the show, I get a call from Ducharme.
you gotta. Yeah. Yeah.
And I come on and
Maybe
come
we-
on,
we-
and I might come on and just look at Vin as he walks from his dressing room to the stage, and
That's all you need. That's all you
who
need.
am I? Who am I to
Just a look.
disappoint my dear old
No.
brings me
You
on
can't. You can't.
cruises for free.
Yeah,
you know?
he's very successful, and he's he obviously he has the franchise of whatnot. But it is
What's the
fun.
franchise?
Fast and the
Oh, yeah.
Furious.
Yeah, Fast
I'm
and
kidding,
Furious,
yeah.
big macho, deep voice.
Have you seen those though? Have you watched any of those?
They are-
Is he out of the closet? He is now.
Yeah. No, he actually, unfortunately, a former short time assistant who worked for him for 9 days just sued him this past week for sexual harassment, assault. Yeah.
9 days. That's
Wait a
pretty,
minute, hold on.
pretty
He
good.
worked for
I'm
9 days.
actually, I have a suit coming out against him tomorrow.
Against Vin?
No.
Oh,
Al
against
Romas
Al
for sexual
Romas.
harassment.
Oh, okay. You're
That's-
going to get a process server is going to show up at your front door tomorrow, Al.
I'm
I
not going to
wouldn't
be
be
here.
home.
Fuck.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
not going to be here. I'm not going to be here.
No,
I told him
already
this is
worked out with
bullshit.
Kelly. He's gonna put it in your luggage. You've been served.
But have you ever seen a Fast and the Furious? I think I've seen
I
one.
did. I saw
I
the
don't-
first couple.
Yeah, me too.
And beyond that, atrocious.
Yeah,
Atrocious.
because-
Can't imagine though. Because the
who-
first one, they're not good. And then what are they at 11 now? I mean, how do you? Any of this.
10. They did
But
10. I
they
think.
make like $800
Yeah,
every.
Who go? But who again? My thing of who goes? Who's
Yeah.
doing this?
Yeah.
And
Do you know my
All right.
Michelle Rodriguez? I was
Teenagers?
my ex-girlfriend Hallie was into heady and cerebral cinema, and
Mhm.
so the last one I saw I think was Fast 4 or 5, and back in 2012. And the thing that was
Right.
astonishing was the closing sequence of the film. They're basically all chasing like a C-17 cargo plane down the runway. And I am telling you, this runway, the longest runways in
Just
the
goes
world
on and on for a while.
are 15,000
A
feet.
couple of miles.
This sequence went on for 20 fucking minutes.
Just keep going.
Yeah, they're in their cars. They're chasing
Yeah.
this plane down. It is not
It's
lifted off.
It's usually 20
Maybe he
seconds.
could take off.
Yeah.
Maybe they just lift that thing.
Right. But it was, it was
Cars
like
don't fly.
literally this runway, not 15,000 feet, but like, it was 15
Yeah.
on literally. It was
Wow.
absurd, so-
No, but
Um,
Michelle Rodriguez, do I have the name correct?
yeah,
she
she's in 'em. Yeah,
was-
she's great.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
enjoyed her, especially when she was like 27. She was
Oh,
killing it.
a little ageism. Now, is she not
No,
hot anymore?
She looks,
Yeah.
no, she looked, for me, are you kidding me?
who was she in the? I don't remember. I don't even remember enough. I remember that he had a girlfriend, then he
Oh,
had a sister,
Latino.
and
Yeah.
Tough.
the sister was
But
the
uh,
guy the actor who passed away in the
Paul
car
Walker.
wreck.
yeah.
Paul Walker.
Yeah.
That was
I'm not sure.
yeah, I don't know.
Ironically, he died.
I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
supercar,
Yeah.
A Porsche, I think it
Yeah.
was, right?
Yeah, it was the
Super,
it was a Porsche. Is it
And he picked him up at the premiere.
no. They were doing a car
Fundraiser?
appearance thing,
Okay.
yeah, out in like Santa Clarita. It was
And he said, "Hey, man, check this out."
Roger
Yeah.
Rodis was his
So
like producing.
He took it to a back road or something.
Yeah, they were in a parking lot.
It's commitment, again. But
Yeah.
It went
Those that
Zero to-
that model has no traction control, no ABS
I
brake.
know. I'm sick of it. I'm gonna get rid of mine. I've had enough of it. I'm
Dude,
just
you don't
I'm
even
selling
drive it
I'm selling the
anymore. You
goddamn
don't
thing.
shit.
No, I don't sell it. Fucking taking up room in one of my
Dust, you
garages.
have a cover on it.
I don't
You
even
know-
know where it is, to be honest.
You know what,
I
Al?
get so many of the
You left
fucking
it at the
things.
mall, at the cigar.
And
club.
anytime I sell a Porsche, Craigslist.
That's it. Yeah,
Right, yeah.
exactly.
If you want to, if you
Yeah.
want an old desk, if somebody's moving and they have shit that they want to get rid of, or
Yeah.
an
Or-
exotic
Marketplace
Porsche.
is a good one.
Oh.
Hey boys, look what we got.
Oh, we
A
have
viewer question? Oh,
There
a
we go.
Gonna pop up. Okay.
Yes.
No, we didn't know
I
we
don't
didn't
know.
know we'd have a guest, but John, you could do this. You've
Okay.
participate.
you've experienced it. The question coming in here, my writing's so horrible. First, basically, where was your first comedy gig, and how much were you paid? So those are two separate things, because your first comedy gig could be like an open mic. So let's go your
yours was
first-
the School talent show, right? In
First pro gig.
First page.
first pay.
First pro, it's pro gig. First paid gig.
I know mine. I know
Which
it
one? All right.
quite well.
Well, tell.
It was in the 80s, and it was at Periwinkle's It was actually called Noah's Arcade at the time. They used to do talent.
Oh, I
shows
see what they did.
and,
Noah's
Musicians
Arcade.
and whatnot.
Clever.
Ray Winkle's
Yeah.
in Providence.
yes, and
Charlie Hall.
Charlie Hall and Frank O'Donnell,
Mhm.
the pioneers of stand-up comedy in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
They
Wow.
was doing open mics on Wednesday and whatnot, and I started getting some responses, and they said, "Hey, we'd like for you to come on the weekend show." I said, "Great." So I came on the weekend show, and I did whatever 10 minutes, and then at the end of it, they said, "Go over to the bartender. He's got something for you." And they handed me,
Okay, now.
I think, $35 per
What?
show, like $70. And for me, college student, I was like, "What?"
Yeah,
And for gasoline at the time was like
that was pretty good.
70
money
cents.
back
a
then.
gallon.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I could fill up my car and go to Burger King
Yeah.
and then some. Yeah, it was pretty tremendous. And that was it. Then I became a professional comedian. I think I had all paid gigs for the next 38 years.
Well,
Is that true? I'm doing math here.
I think it's pretty amazing when you think of we've said this before on the pod, like guys like Al, me, these guys, Cotter, whatever, these guys who've been doing comedy their whole adult life, no other job,
It's like Jimmy Kimmel with 21 years.
always working, always just, it's pretty amazing because people think of comedian, you always think of like if he's, the household name guy.
right.
But there's so many guys who've made a living, not so many, really. But there's guys who made and done fine just being comedians.
We
know
were
what I
talking
mean?
about that at dinner the other night. We were talking about, our mutual friend Jackie Flynn, the great Boston stand-up.
Mhm.
He and I were talking a couple weeks ago at dinner about gratitude and about being appreciative and focusing on, reminding yourself of the things that you have, and which we all tend, we need that.
Right.
We need that reminder. I know I do personally. And
Yeah.
I was saying to Al the other night at dinner that since I've known him, the day I met him in '89, he's worked full time as a comic and never had a day job. And that's
Yeah.
You handed me a check for $1,200.
I did.
And I
As
said, I
as a
like this
college
guy.
student, right? That's right. It was not my money. It was from
Right.
Grossly overpaid.
Now it was supposed to be a
Mhm.
student activities fund that was $150,000 at the time, but it was really my
you
personal
only get
slush fund.
$1,200.
Oh, hey now. There you go.
It was right. It was hookers and blow, and it was
Some Providence
several
hookers.
games.
Yeah.
Everything else. And I think of the 150,000, each student would put in like $150 at the beginning of the year. I think I probably spent of the 150, maybe 30K on entertainment for the school year, and the rest.
Did you have anyone?
The rest disappeared. I don't know what happened.
Did
to
you-
it.
Who knows? It's
Good
the statute of
120K.
limitations is long
Exactly.
gone. You're fine. You're fine.
But,
Don't worry. Did
that
you bring
Lamborghini
in?
that was like, it wasn't new, that Lamborghini, right?
The Lambo, no, that
No,
was a used Countach.
yeah.
It was an 85 that I got
That's
in
right.
89.
I got kit
Yeah,
car.
Piece of shit.
Okay.
Did you bring in any acts in the day in '89, whatever the
Yeah,
name
David
acts that we would?
Spades.
Yeah, Spade.
Was he a name? Oh yeah, sort of a
Jay
name. an idea.
Moore, Spade, Jay
Okay.
They were
Moore.
both taking off.
Yeah.
What were they? What were they getting at that time?
So Spade, I brought in. He was a featured player on SNL in his second year, and I paid him. I feel guilty. No, $2,500, and I picked him up at the airport, and we did a comedy concert in the gym for Spring Fling that I hosted, and I was telling Al that
2,500.
2,500. We were talking. We were talking the other night about how a bunch of the football players were drunk in the back of the gym, and I felt bad for Davey because he was. They were screaming, "To the church lady!" They didn't understand that on SNL, different
That's
guys
great.
write different characters for
That's great.
different players,
Yeah.
and
Well, the stereotypical
Yeah, and he
football
was,
player.
That's great.
so
And-
these guys clearly early on had CTE
Yeah.
before it, before
Yeah.
chronic
And Carvey
traumatic
and Spade kind of.
encephalopathy was
I
a
mean,
thing.
you could see
Right.
it, but
Right.
but that's great. I love that.
In hindsight, when they were yelling, "Do the church lady," I now know those few guys had CTE undiagnosed.
Yeah.
We didn't know it, that, and they had a little cheap pop
And now they
off.
work at Baskin and Robbins.
Yeah, cheap pop off vodka out of a plastic.
Oh, pop off.
Can't call them Jimmy's because that's
Wow.
racist.
They
Yeah.
left going, yeah, that sucked. He didn't even do the church lady. That sucked.
Yeah. But
You think
we,
for 2,500 he'd do the church lady? Jesus.
yeah, some other great comics back in the day. It was fun, and it was fun over the years to see those guys, Joe Rogan, different guys
Right.
catch on, over the
Do
years.
they remember that? Like if you see Spade at Kimmel's
Yeah, I do
show,
see
like
Spade. I do
does he
see
remember
Spade.
that?
Yeah, yeah, because I see Spade because my best friend and producing partner, they did Patrick Warburton, they did a series together, Rules of Engagement, for 7 years. So I see Dave,
Right.
fairly often, and
Now,
Okay.
I've joked about
you know who
Yeah.
Patrick Warburton is. He played
Sure.
Seinfeld, but he ended up doing the Rules of Engagement.
Mhm.
But he also does voiceovers on Family Guy.
Yes, he plays
Okay.
Joe
Well,
Swanson, wheelchair
Joe-
bound comedy.
Yeah. That one I'm familiar with. Yeah.
Yeah, so he and Dave,
tons of others.
he and Dave
Yeah.
are good pals. So yeah, that's been fun, and we've laughed.
That's
about
more for the listener.
We've laughed about how much of a hell gig I put that poor guy through.
But I was listening to Spade on somebody's pod, and he was saying when he did SNL the first season, he was in New York a month or two before that doing Gary Grant gigs for, $100. I mean,
Wow. Yes. Yeah.
he was
Yeah,
like, I was
Dana.
nobody, middling shitholes
Right.
for $150. So
Right.
a
He
year
was
later,
Phoenix.
2,500 was probably
I heard
pretty
he got
decent
hired
to him.
because he
Phoenix
did
guy.
a Tom Petty impression.
He does. He does a
He
great.
did it on Evening at the Improv.
Yeah.
I saw it on the MTV half.
He put a
hour
wig on
comedy
or
album
something
back.
or
Yeah.
other.
He
Right, he had the
put a button top
sideburns.
thing.
Yeah.
He put the hat. The top
Yeah.
hat.
Yeah,
on.
he had. I remember that, and he had
no
Michael
more.
J. He would do Michael J. Fox
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Casualties of War.
Right.
Well, that's
Right.
what they were looking for. They wanted comedians who could do impressions.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
So
great.
He
And he had one of my favorite jokes at that time. One of my very favorite jokes because it was about John Benet Ramsey had just died, and he goes. And he's like, all they do is say how hot. He goes, she's all right. She's not a stunner. A
right,
6.
right. 97.
And she's like 7 years old.
Yeah, I know.
I love that though. Not a stunner. Fucking
Yeah.
killed.
Yes.
me. Oh my god.
Yeah, he was
Wow.
and he struggled. He talks about how he and Dana have that great podcast where they discuss just SNL, former guests.
Yeah.
So forth. And,
Yeah.
Dave talks about
Let's
how
push
much,
another
how much of a
podcast on
struggle.
our
Well,
podcast.
how much of a struggle it was in the early days of SNL, and how it's
trying to get your sketches on because
Yeah.
he was a writer too,
Right.
And
Yeah.
it was a
Possible.
struggle
Guys.
and egos
Yeah.
and people's fucking you over and,
Right.
and gaslighting you.
That's right. That's right. To get guys to write for you, and knowing that if it's written with you in mind, you'll likely then have the first shot of performing it and getting Lauren's blessing to do it.
Yeah.
Acting.
I remember Jay Moore saying because he was brought in mostly as a
Feature
writer,
player, right.
feature player, and he said it was very difficult getting
Yeah.
your stuff on. It was like,
But it's weird how some guys go there and they can just do it. Like Mike Myers seemed to just go there with characters and bits, and he just was on like he'd been on 10 years. His first
Right.
year, he was,
toy chest of characters.
Right.
just knew how to do it almost.
Yeah.
Like, here, I know how to do this, which
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah,
John, did you ever get paid to do stand up? Do you have a first?
yeah, a few times. Never more than $50, and it was at I'd go. My friend Tim Monahan and I sometimes we'd go, and there were like we get hired to do like a fraternity game show. You host a thing or something like that, or I'd get him those gigs, and so forth. So usually, I don't think I ever made more than $50 doing stand up. 25 bucks.
Okay. Yeah.
Where is he? Is he in Atlanta doing the radio?
No, he's actually in Palm Beach, Florida, doing a morning show.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
but he's moved around to, he's a
Different
morning.
markets.
Yeah, a lot of.
He
lot
went
of
the radio
markets,
route.
Yeah,
but he's
and
I think that's the only job that's less. I mean, like comedy, it's wild. You don't know what's going to happen, but that DJ, that's even tougher than stand up. That
changed
thing.
so much with podcasts.
That thing is. I mean, those guys are like in
Like
your
radio.
50s, living in a motel, and
and it's
that's
right
tough sledding.
running the morning hoedown with Chip and Jerry, and I mean it's terrestrial
so-
radio is so rife with cliche. The comedy writes itself when you're
And
shit
it's still
out
going
morning.
on. And I just did one 4 weeks ago. I had to do morning radio, which I hadn't done in forever, and it was hilarious. And just it was so classic. Like it was a news station. So I'm on a news station. So they take a break from Palestine and Israel to interview the dumb comic for 10 minutes. Then they go, let's go to the phones. Well, nobody even gave a shit about me. So I go, let's go to the phones for Al Romas. Hello. We got to get out of Palestine. It's, all right, next call. We got to, these Jews are killing. All right, that's it.
We got free tickets.
It was no one's
right here,
listening
right.
to me.
Right, you're
To
just trying to
Gaza.
You're just trying to
Round trip to
promote
one
your
way.
promote your
That's it.
Chuckle Hut, and they just want to talk about peace in the Middle East. It's,
That's it, man. Yeah. And I got up at 8 in the morning or 7:30 to do it. It's just pointless. What are we doing?
There
Stop
was such
it.
a
But
discrepancy even before satellite radio. It was such a one guy'd be making $150 for his morning show, and then some other guy in a bigger market's making 250 grand a year,
right.
and then getting all these private events and personal appearance fees under the table.
Right.
Crazy.
Right.
Crazy.
when I was in Virginia, I got a job. I was a morning DJ, and then they promoted me to afternoon. And I was like, oh, great. I thought big raise, no raise. And then I did weekend comedy. I got $175 to MC 3 shows. That was more than I made for a week
Radio. Right.
as the afternoon DJ.
Right.
So I went to the program director and I said, I've got to, either get a raise or I'm going to have to move on. And he goes, why? And I go, well, I made $175 doing. He goes, you did? He was amazed by that. And he goes, we can't even come close. So good luck to you.
You
And I
know
was
that
like,
it's the
all right.
a lot of people
personal-
do it for free
Yeah.
just to get the experience.
But the personal
Yeah.
appearance stuff, I mean, my friend Tim, he'll go to the opening of, I always make the joke about Dave Dinger Ford, in Braintree, Mass. But, it's like he gets hired
Right. If you
on a weekend to do a little signing or broadcast live from the parking lot at Dave
right.
Dinger Ford,
Yeah.
Mark
Got a
Perrino,
mall opening.
Mark Perrino out of Boston, who
Right.
served prison, came out of prison, then he died. But-
Yellow.
That
Is
was
this thing on?
But
like a
he was
Johnny
one of those
Cash
guys who
song.
get like
Holy shit.
250 to 275. He had the afternoon drive,
All right.
and then he'd come over to the comedy club and introduce the host.
Uh-huh.
And then they'd give him an envelope
Right.
full of money, and then he'd leave, and then
Yeah.
he'd talk about the comedy club all week long, and all the comedians he'd have come in. And it was so for promotion wise, it was amazing.
Yeah.
How much?
Well, the club I did a month ago, the morning DJ guy hosted Saturday night, and he got a dinner and $50. So it's not quite the stuffed envelope anymore. It's
It was the Boston market.
here's
The
a
ratings-
meal and $50. Yeah.
This is the heyday, the second
Right.
wave of the boom, comedy
Right.
boom. And Mark Moreno happened to be in the right place at the right time, and it was entertaining. And he
Yeah.
had
We're getting we're getting a little Wi-Fi issues here, boys.
yeah, but on our
We can,
end, it's perfectly fine. So if
okay, good.
you have a glitch, we'll
Okay.
fix the post.
All right, I got a quick one. I got a quick question. I was going to ask Alfred. I'll ask Alfred and John. Just the thing. Want to know your opinion. You call in to Firehouse or some sub shop. You call in for a sub. It's $11. You go there. You pay. She turns the tip thing around. Are you
Oh.
tipping?
I do.
On
I
a
always
call
add
in
a bu-
sub.
I don't do the percentage. I add a
Yeah.
custom tip. I hit the
Custom.
custom tip button and I add $1. Yeah.
So I do the custom, but sometimes if there's a long line and there's like a delay or something, I just go 10% or 15% and walk away. And I'm
I like the
"Why'd
custom
you pay
idea.
$3, $4 extra for a sandwich.
Custom.
I-
Stay on the dark alley.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go custom and $1. I like that. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Custom and a buck.
Yeah, I just get annoyed and I go in there every time going, I'm hitting no this time. Fuck you. But
But you
then I'm
feel
like,
like-
I feel
You
weird. I
gotta
gotta
hit,
hit
you gotta
10%.
hit the button multiple times to do custom. It's not like
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
but
It just,
custom-
I don't know. It bugs me. I mean,
Right, but
you
you feel
know,
obligated. Yeah.
it's, yeah. And all right. So I will,
in
I
California,
like the custom
minimum
idea
wage
though.
is $10 an hour, right?
Oh, I think it's higher. Yeah.
No, 15
yeah.
bucks an hour is the minimum wage.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
then the owners are putting on this little
Service fee,
service fee,
Right.
and it says it goes towards their health insurance to
Mhm.
defray the costs.
Oh,
Because
gee.
they're paying such a higher minimum wage.
Right.
But the
Right.
minimum wage should have been raised gradually over time, and it stays frozen for like a decade or two. So
Right.
it's very
Yeah. Well,
pro
glad
consistent.
things are going up except our pay and just what are you paying for that cabin you're in? That's sweet. What is that? $20 a day or something? Or
Well, they keep
21?
saying it's
Gratuity, yeah.
18, but I think this is like 21 each.
yeah. There's the 18s for a regular cabin. So you're at 20. Ridiculous, but you know, what are you gonna do?
And we
What are
also
you gonna do, boys?
hand out a lot of $5 bills to the wait staff and to the room.
You
attendants.
just tip that way. Yeah, that's old school. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, we've been going to the dining room often, like in between.
Everybody gets a.
Yeah, it's just they look forward to you coming in. You get the extra treatment, and we feel pretty good about it. Again, I was doing that when I was paying $5.50 for cabin fees, just because
Sure.
I felt a little guilty. You know,
Right.
And I started to do it when we were talking to another entertainer and came to the realization that the compensation for the attendance comes out of that gratuity. That it's not really a gratuity; it's their
wage,
It's
but
their wage.
It's crazy. I know.
this is our bread and butter. So we understand that they're trying to stay afloat after COVID.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
That one doesn't. It's not doesn't really bother me. That
It's the
tip
internet.
turnaround sub shop tip guy that bothers me.
But
But I like custom. Buck, give him a buck.
Custom,
That's it.
give them a dollar. So it's not the because that thing has selections 10%, 15%.
It's crazy.
sometimes they
Get
start at
custom and-
15. I
yeah.
noticed that a couple of screens started.
They'll
at
skip 10. Right.
5%.
Right.
I'm like, so I got to
Right.
skip it back to the other one, and then it's just crazy.
But,
Yeah, it's enough. It's enough.
Did we
okay.
answer the question?
Well, I think we did. I didn't. Mine was I actually got paid at an open mic when I started. I did like my third open mic, and then there were so few comedians in Virginia at the time that they said, "Do you want to host next week?" So I hosted open mic with my 3 minutes, and then got paid like $30 at the
Did
end
you
of
know
it.
you were
So
getting paid? Because I didn't.
I had no idea. I didn't know anyone got
You were
paid
like,
for comedy.
Holy shit!
I was very naive, obviously. And then I thought I went to the bar and I said, "Can I get a whatever, a bud?" And I put money down. He goes, "Yeah, you don't have to pay." So that was what I thought was the deal. And I was happy with that. I'm like, "I can drink it for free." And he goes, "Yeah."
I have to give
I
notice.
go, "Well, this is pretty good. I like this
Radio
deal.
station.
That's all right." Do you know Chip Chinnery? Either of you guys?
Yes, I
Chinnery?
do. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you know him from
On
LA.
Facebook.
Great guy.
Other people, if you're whoever's listening, check him out on Facebook. Chip Chinnery. He wrote a book about his first year in stand-up,
Oh.
and every day, and he took notes. I mean, he had like a
Have a
journal.
diary.
Wow.
He took
documentary.
He took pictures with every
Wow.
comic at every gig,
Wow.
and he's
I
posting
made it,
those.
actually, because one of
He's
his first gigs he was hosting in Western Mass. I think it was Chicopee,
Wow.
Massachusetts. Yeah.
He's posting those on Facebook now each day,
That's
and it's great. It's like such a trip down memory lane. It's
gotten to do
pretty
a lot
wild.
of acting since then.
Yeah, he did a lot-
commercials and guest
lot
spots.
of
remember the
sitcoms.
commercials. Chip in the
sitcoms.
90s was
Guest
like
starring on a lot of sitcoms. Yeah,
yeah.
he was in
Great
every
guy,
commercial
great
there
guy.
was for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he
Yeah.
left stand up.
Oh, is he not
And-
doing stand up?
Well, I mean,
Oh.
he left it for a period of time. He
Oh,
might be
okay.
back in it now.
Yeah, he's.
I don't think he's back, but yeah, this is so great because he's emceeing, and then you see the guys who are featuring and their headline, and then a lot of them are just gone now. They've passed away, and or they're just gone. You can't find who they are. They vanished off the grid.
And
But
some
it's
are-
really been amazing, and all the clubs are gone. You see these clubs, you go, "Oh, I remember Slapsticks in Baltimore." It's like that's been long gone. So it's been pretty cool. Chip Chinnery
Oh, all right. I gotta check that
on
out.
Facebook. Yeah.
All right. So how are we doing here on time? It looks like we're coming to the end of this particular one. We want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. And what do you have? One show tonight, Al, in the theater?
One show in the theater, 10 o'clock after our Coastal Kitchen visit. We're gonna have some dinner.
Have you guys been promoting the theater show in the club?
I did a little bit, but not a lot. Some people came to see us again, and they came up to us and said, "Hey, we're here again." And we said, "Oh, it's not a totally different show. I'll throw in a couple of new bits, but our whole new show will be at 10
Right.
o'clock." And then I explained to the audience that as well. But I usually will do a show here and there and just say, "Hey, whole new show tomorrow night." I didn't know what
There's a big
Oh,
difference
Bob
with
was
promoting
gonna
it. When you promote it in the club, it'll be full. And if you don't really promote it, it's like half full. I've noticed
Oh,
it.
is that right? Oh.
Yeah, they don't know. They just don't know we're doing another show.
Hmm.
Some people don't look at the
people
app.
that I
They
did
don't
mention
listen.
it to were saying, "What time?"
Yeah, they don't know.
Okay.
So yeah,
They
promote
did.
it.
They
Well,
mentioned
it's
it
too late,
today.
but-
The cruise director mentioned it on television. They've been putting up the posters outside the theater.
Yeah,
For the adult
yeah.
show.
I hope it's full because it's great.
Well,
That theater when it's full
I'll
is-
walk up and down the dining room and solicit.
We'll give them a
Naked?
bell.
I'll
Yeah.
tell folks, don't finish that cherry cobbler. Get your ass up to the theater.
There you go. That's why you're there, John. Let's be
Right.
honest. I mean, you didn't come on just
chill,
to.
and I got to earn my keep. I got a free.
You
cruise
do.
ride
It would be nice. It would be nice. Yeah. Well,
for once.
all right, boys.
Yes. John Frederick Wolk. Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
My
being a
pleasure.
guest.
John, thanks for joining us. Pleasure
Fine.
meeting you, and maybe I hope to see
You
you in the flesh at some point.
I'm going to be
in our
staying at the
lifetime.
Fort Harrison Hotel in Clearwater when I'm.
Oh, that's right. He's going to be right down the road from you.
I'm going to be in Clearwater at
When
on Sunday. I'm going to be staying for 4 days, and I'm going to be at the global headquarters of Scientology International. And
perfect. I'm
Hotel.
right down the road. I'm a cadet myself, and
I'm a Sea Org member too. Yeah,
I speak the word of our Lord and
In fact, this
Savior.
this is the first cruise that I've ever done that was not on the Free Winds, the Scientology ship.
No longer.
You've been on that. Oh, you're
it
you're up there. I'm
decommissioned?
not up high enough. I haven't been invited.
You're not
yet
high
to,
enough on the
sail.
bridge.
No,
you two
no.
enjoy the
I'm
Kool-Aid.
operating.
No, I get
number
audited.
2.
I'm still being audited. I'm
And Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you in 2024 after this episode. Woohoo!
peace.
Adios.
So long, man. Have a good trip.
Don't forget to review us and rate us. It really helps.
The Talking Dicks became friends at a very young age, and the rest is history.
I'm losing my mind.
Patreon.com/The2Dicks, which is named after our web series. This is the Two Owls, One Pod podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
Done.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
We'll fix it in post, you son of a bitch.
Okay, sure.
All right. Subscribe. Mary. This was a horrible mistake.
Go to patreon.com/forwardthe2dicks.
If you shoot me, you won't see a cent of that money. Why?
I think it ends on that. That's beautiful.